All right, guys, welcome to Trading with Meatball, and we're looking at the SPY on the 5 minute. We're not here to brag, but we're going to talk about why we draw lines and zones and how we took their lunch money today, right? And so we saw there was an economic calendar, which you should always be watching, along with the other 800,000 things that you're supposed to be watching, right? We knew there was data 15 minutes after the open, and I had said in the Discord that I'm going to wait, and waiting is the secret for me. 9:45, and then again at 10 o'clock, you have data, and some asshole from the Fed is going to run his mouth, okay? And then some more data at 10, which I didn't know if it would do anything or not, but we're going to wait. I like 10:30, 11 o'clock. It works for me. And so here we are about 9:45 on the SPY right in here, and it's chopping. And you can guess what I was doing. I shared my secret with you the other night, and it works. And so they pissed me off with this big red candle, but there it is at 10 o'clock, right? And why did it piss me off? Well, it went from this zone all the way down to this zone. I wanted smaller red candles, gives me a better entry, right? And when they eat up that whole area in between these zones, it kind of scares me a little bit because that's the move I was looking for. But I took it, and I use Ripster's clouds most of the time, and it was outside the clouds. So it was a good setup for puts. And we got in. And here it is. And you can look at the Discord if you want to scroll through it. It almost doubled for me. Fuck it. I am gone. And there's the chart, and here's the candles. So let's look at it. And it's these candles right in here. I sold into that. When it hit this zone, which is my zone, and I drew that zone, it gives me the confidence to go ahead and just go ahead and get out because it made me resistance. It could chop there. And look what it did. It chopped. These are 5 minute candles. So that's 20 minutes worth of chop, and that kills your time value, right? And then in the zone, it went past it a little bit, but then it reversed. And so let's talk about that. Right after this hit we got in the morning, and I said, God, baby, I started looking at the Q, and I said over here, here you go, the QQQ, maybe 426.60 and over for a call entry, and we said later on in the day, and here we go, candles or calls maybe on the Q. Later on, I reiterated that same setup in the Q. So let's look at that. And why did I say that? So we're in here about 10 o'clock when I said that, and I'm taking profits on the SPY, and I'm saying if the Q goes back over 426.60, it hadn't done this part in here. Okay, it was only up in here at that point. I didn't know how far it was going to go, but we're in here, and I was looking for it to go back up, and the 426.60 is about the top of this red zone right here, and we drew that zone. And once again, we want you to steal our knowledge and put it in your toolbox. I'm just an old man flipping stocks to pay my bills. I've said that before, but we want you to draw lines on charts and draw your own zones. This is why we do it. Okay, when it dumped further, and yes, we scalped a QQQ put in there, but we made the call again in the Discord later in the day when it was coming back over this area and caught this big green candle right here. It pushed it all the way past this zone and clear of the 426.60. It's into 427 at that point. Now I chose that because it's bottomed out in this zone. Okay, later on in the day, it's recovering, right? And I said in the Discord, if it goes back over 426.60, calls are in order, right? Because that means it's clear of this zone. And also, I was looking at this last big red candle here and these little red candles and this zone. And I said to myself, well, gosh, if you just draw a line straight across and it goes back higher than that, okay, then they could run it all day or it could recover some. And they could also chop us all day too, right? But that was the setup is when it's clear of my zone and it went above my zone. It's also going above the 20-day moving average, which is a yellow line, okay? And so those calls worked out great right in there. Anybody that took that made out like bandits, okay? But if you draw your own lines on and zones on the charts, then you have confidence and you have another indicator of when to get in and when to sell. And there was a smart lady I follow on Twitter, and she posted 493 resistance on SPY, and I complimented her and shared my chart because that zone right there is 493. And this is a SPY on the 5 minute. And she was calling it when it was running. And I posted my chart and said, I agree with you, man, because that's exactly the zone I had drawn. And she was right, because look, it rejected at 493 a couple times and then chopped and ruined your time value, right? So draw lines and zones on charts, guys, and I hope you steal our knowledge and use it to make a bunch of money. Okay, but it's Valentine's Day coming up, so I'm going to give you some other advice. If you meet a girl and you like her, you need to tell her, guys, that if you think she's amazing, you need to say something. Don't let opportunity pass you by. And I saw some videos the other day talking about ignoring girls or something, and that's the key to winning. And I'm thinking, I don't know about you, Jack. I mean, maybe that works in a nightclub in New York City, but um, I married the captain of the high school cheerleading squad. Did you? Did you? Did you? Because I did, and I'm pretty ugly. If you meet a girl who's amazing, you need to tell her because somebody else will, and they're gonna get your girl. All right, guys. Steal our knowledge and do something with it. Go take their lunch money, and yes, we share the whole screen. We just don't give a shit.